Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zinn is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zinn.
Hello. Here we are together at last. I've been anticipating this moment for a while, as have a few of you I know who are out there. I see Grace Grella out there. I see Helen out there. I see Arnie, some of my friends. I love it that you're here. Thank you guys for showing up. We are here. It's January 7th. It's the debut of Holding Space, my new show on the Sacred Spiral Network. I'm really excited to be a part of the Sacred Spiral Network and a growing community of like-minded people who love to have conversations about the energetic nature of the universe and our being and our connection with each other. And I see Michael Christopher out there as well. What's up, Michael Christopher? So welcome everybody for being here. It's a new show, so we're on a bunch of different platforms right now. Whatever platform you're on, subscribe so you can always know when this show goes live. I see Holistic from Harmoniesaga. Awesome. Hello. Some new names. I'm excited about that. This show is all about holding space. Well, what does that mean? Well, holding space is that moment of connecting with another, right? It's that energetic exchange that you have. A lot of times I think we are conditioned to, want to talk and respond, and we're waiting for our moment to respond, and we're not actually listening, which is something that I love to do. I love to listen to the people that I love, talk about what's going on with them, and I love to listen to new people tell me all about themselves. So that's where Holding Space came from. I will be doing that here. I will be holding space for my friends and some new people. I'll be making some friends, and I consider you guys my friends too. Thank you again for being here. And I see Jennifer Rose as well out there. What's up, Jennifer? Good to see you guys. So in the introduction, you heard Todd, who's going to be on the show also, say I'm a visual creator, a visual producer. I have always been a visual kind of artist, photography, video, graphic design. That's the kind of thing that I do. And I've always been doing it for other people or doing it from behind the scenes. I create my own art, but as far as this goes, I've been kind of behind the scenes. And somehow I was given the opportunity to be in front of the camera and host a show with Jesse Blaze on the Live Stream of Consciousness, which is another show that we'll talk about here. And it became a very comfortable place. So this is my second happy place. Now I've got two shows that I consider my happy place. And I love the fact that I'm filling up my time with the intention of my own happy place, my own happiness, being myself. That's really our mission. And I see Kelly out there, and I see Minty out there. Awesome. Ooh, this is like a big party with all my friends. I'm excited. Thank you guys for coming. So I did want to spend just a couple of minutes just introducing myself, who I was, talk about what does it mean that I'm a visual creator, show a little piece of my work, because I feel like this particular story connects to my first guest, who I'm super excited to talk to tonight. You guys are gonna be spinning after this episode. I was thinking, oh man, am I like setting the bar too high? But I'm really excited about tonight's guest. I'll tell you all about him in a minute. But I'm gonna just show you guys something really quick and tell you a quick story. So I was doing photography at the time. I was doing a project called the Projector Project. And what I was doing was I was taking a projector and I was putting images in that projector, mostly patterns and textures and things like that. And I was shining the projector onto my model. and I would then photograph that. So here I'm going to share this with you guys. This is one of those original photos that I took. I just loved the way that the projector kind of followed the contour of the person's body, and I loved even seeing the little pixels. There was something about this project that I really, really loved, and these images that I was creating that I was really excited about. And one day I was working on this particular image, and I was just kind of staring at it and feeling it and loving it, and it spoke to me. And this is kind of the idea of energy and the collective and source and all of these things. And something was telling me, take this image and flip it, show it symmetrically back to back, show the girl back to back. And so I did, and this was the image that came out of that thought. And I was blown away. I was like, whoa, look at this depth, and look at the lines, and look at the way everything's interacting. And there was just something about this image that spoke to me. And if you're an artist or a creator, you know how that feels when you're working and you're liking what you're doing, and you're like, oh, this is good, this feels right. That means you're in the flow. That means you've kind of let go, and you're just connecting with what it is that you're doing. So this was the second image in the series, and I kind of just wanted to take a little further, and I pushed it one more notch, and I came up with this last image, which is where the name of the whole series comes from, because immediately I said, oh, that looks like a mandala. And I was never really one to be into mandala art, but something about this particular mandala, not just the fact that I made it, but there was something about it that resonated with me. And I don't know if you guys are into like cymatics and things like that, but that was the vibe that I got. There was this kind of real spiritual, energetic vibe from the image, and so that was where the human dollar was born, and kind of my journey into understanding my own connection with my photography and source and channeling it all. So again, I didn't want to take up too much time, but I did want to show you guys a little bit of what I do, and perhaps throughout the show, I'll bring on different pieces and tell little stories about where they came from and how they came up as far as my own work. But the show is called Holding Space because I'm here to hold space for my guest. I see Timmy out there. What's up, Timmy? Good to see you. And Vivian also looks like the flower of life. Absolutely. I loved the sacred geometry that these images were evoking. And just, again, it was just something about having created the image and then channeling through working with it, that just was amazing. Helen, I love your work. Thank you. I love your work. Helen makes some amazing resin pieces that have a lot of energy to them as well. So thank you guys, and thank you for indulging me in allowing me to tell you a little bit about who I am and why I'm here, why you're here. And now, without further ado, I want to get to my guest, and I want to hold some sacred space now. My guest, what's up, Isabel? My guest has a show called The Angel Channel, who I love what he does. He does a spiritual practice. I'll let him talk all about it, but he formally opens up the space with a little ritual with his bowl, with the Tibetan bowl. And it's just such an amazing, amazing session, right? His show, it's like it's almost like a session with a healer when you're watching the Angel Channel. So I know he's chomping at the bit. He's in the back there. My friend's name, and I'm holding space today for the amazing wizard, Mr. Bryan Lahr. What is up, Bryan Lahr?
Mr. Zinn, we're back again.
We are back again. I was on Bryan's show last night. We were promoting this episode. As I was saying, Bryan does a show called The Angel Channel, where he is going through the angel deck that he created, which we're going to talk about and show some images from. You guys are going to be so enchanted by his artwork. I cannot wait to share it with you. But yes, his artwork is on an angel deck, on a tarot deck, and we've done some shows together around these decks, explaining the meanings of all the cards to people, and it's really great. And and Isabel is saying hello, Bryan, and Helen
Hey,
Wagner.
Isabel.
Hello, Bryan.
Helen, what's up? Grace, what's up?
Everybody's welcoming you to the space. I love it, to the space that we are holding together. Awesome.
Yeah.
So our story is, I guess our interest in photography is where we connected, and I'm gonna start there, and then I'm gonna back up and just let you tell a lot of your story because it's just so amazing. But so I joined a Facebook group that was all about light painting. I felt like my projector work was kind of similar enough, and I enjoy looking at the light painting stuff. And I saw Bryan's work. I came across his work, which was photography. Let me actually see if I can bring that up. Let's remove this one.
Oh man, you've got the one that's cool.
Hold on a second. I've got a bunch of work of yours that I'm going to share. I'm really excited to share. It's set right now on. I got to go in. See, I'm not used to the way that the Sacred Spiral has their things set up here, so I'm just got to switch my windows around here.
You know, I'm glad you're in that spot tonight.
Yeah, you were doing it last night, and all right, so here we go.
Always seems to take about 10 times as long.
These are your cards, right? I've got, there's so many things that I want to show visually tonight with you, that I've got a couple of different windows set up with that. And where is the light painting stuff here?
By the way, congratulations on your show, dude.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm really proud to see you getting, some recognition and being able to expand the work that you've been diligently working at for years, and makes my heart really happy. So
thank you. I really do appreciate that. You know, you've been there for part of the journey, so it's awesome to have you as my first guest.
There we go.
So for people who aren't familiar with light painting, this is kind of like a good basic introduction image, right? And it also introduces you a little bit to Bryan, because the subject there is his book of magic, which is a 30-year-old book of his journey. It's a journal, and I can't wait for him to show it to you. It's a journal, but it is truly like, if you've ever seen a magic book in a movie, it's like one of those. It's like, it's got all of those real qualities of true, like, like animal parts and things in there, which is really great. But this is the light painting work that I really love that Bryan was doing. And we started talking and we became friends, and he told me that he did a tarot deck, and Bryan's got an amazing tarot deck. Oh man, here I am struggling with the production here. Share screen. I got the other screen now set up with the Wizard of Odd. Let's just put that one up. I know I'm jumping around here a bit, but once I get to you'll be able to clear up the story a lot better, I think. Wizard of Oz, here we go. So this is the artwork of the tarot deck that Bryan did. It's wizardofodd.com with a Y, WYZARD, Wizard of Odd. But this is the beautiful tarot deck that Bryan did, and it's just such an amazing collection of his artwork. I'm going to bring some of the images up. But let me back up. I jumped into this because I'm so excited, Bryan. Let me back up a little bit. Bryan started not as a mystic and as like a metaphysical person, but as a very traditional lifestyle. He was a director of education for a place called the Portfolio Center in Miami, and that was a very traditional kind of art director, creative director career. And let me see if I can bring this up, because I love this. There's one image that you produced during that career that has shown up on the internet. I've seen it on the internet. It's
my God.
It's such a brilliant image. And this image, what's that? It was actually an ad that you did for the school itself. It says the wrong ad school will get you in a position you won't like. But this was like before AI and digital artwork, and this was a creative director just really pushing the limits of what the tools were at. And if you take a look at the behind the scenes here, and if you're a photographer or understand anything about photography, it starts to become clear about how much real creativity went into this shot and setting it up so that it would be easy to produce at that time. It wasn't like as easy as it is now to do it, digitally and all of that stuff.
Yeah, pre-Photoshop.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. Again, I love this image. I've seen it on memes all around the internet, and it's just so cool that to have met the person who created an image that I had seen around the internet. So I want you to kind of take the stage and tell us the story of Bryan Lahr as an art director, as a wacky producer, and then what happened along the way to now why you're a shaman and a wizard.
Wow. That's a little complicated.
Let me give you the spotlight.
I've always been an artist. I started drawing on my wall with crayons early, and that's just always been the way I've kind of processed the world and expressed myself back to the world. So I became a musician and was in bands and, starting to try to make a living like that. My dad and doing art, we talked about Roger Dean last night, and that whole thing. I went deeply into wanting to do album cover art and like got into the whole watercolor thing. My dad was like super supportive. And my mom and dad both were like super supportive of my creativity, but my dad was the pragmatist and like, well, how are you going to make money? So, there wasn't going to be any starving artist thing happening, and I happened in, the universe makes things happen for you the way you're supposed to roll. And I found this little school just opening up called Portfolio Center, dove in, and it's turned out to be like I meant this guy wasn't a magical person, but he was my mentor, this guy named Ron Seacrest, who started the school. And he taught me how to harness my creativity. And once you have the nut of how to do that, you can figure out, and you can get any technique as long as a nut and that burst of originality and exploration is there. Right. And from there, I just went into advertising agencies, and I was really lucky to produce some good work and get some attention and work in some nice shops. And the best thing about that was the creative department and other people that were busting and like trying to really improve and get better and cared about their creative, and like doing something good meant something to them. And I was able to be, the agency environment was cool, but I got to hire photographers and directors and illustrators and designers. And man, I tried to hire the best people I could, and I would stick a straw in their skull and just try to suck as much as
Yeah.
And you when you care about it, I've always been really passionate about it. It was what I wanted to be doing, whether I was getting paid for it or not. So
right.
You get better and apply all those lessons. And so I wound up after a number of years being the director of education at the school I went to, which was Portfolio Center. And that was late 80s. And, so it was all about the grunge kind of thing. And like, let's just be like outrageous and intense. So I was always pushing to the students in the school to do stuff that made people feel something strongly, whether it was good or bad, So I came up with this whole series of ads. And the very first iteration of that was the inside front cover of Creative Loafing in Atlanta, which was, the little publication used to be outside restaurants all the time. That was the little rag paper about all the different stuff. So everybody that went to a restaurant in Atlanta saw that ad. And
wow.
People wanted to crucify me, and some people thought it was genius, So it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish, and it's still living. I still see that thing show up.
Yeah, totally amazing. I just want to put up, so there's 2 websites here that you guys can look at if you're being tickled by what you're seeing here. Let me put up his websites here. So blar.com is what we're looking at here. This is your kind of more your professional portfolio, your photography, and less of the wizard stuff. And then wizardofod.com is the other website over here where you can actually buy the tarot deck and the angel deck and see more about that. And also there are tarot classes here as well. But I recommend checking all of this out. Again, you can see the amazing photography, and you can even see kind of where Bryan went into light painting as an art form, because he used that in his art as far as advertising too. Even this image is just so beautiful. These images that are coming by, such great stuff.
So curiously, you wouldn't think this, but my quest into the path I've been on for the last 40 years. I was in the agency I was working at, and the creative director there, his name's Joey Ryman, brilliant person.
Mm-hmm.
He calls a meeting of the creative department one day. Everybody goes into the conference room, and he comes in with this woman and introduces her as Reverend somebody. And I'm like, man, I don't need any religion. I got work to do. So I'm about to leave. And they start talking, and I realize that this is not a religious conversation. And she's talking about energy. And I had recently gotten into the Carlos Castaneda series of books and Don Juan, and like exploding about those energetic concepts, and the body as a body of light and not like a meat sack that we live in.
Right.
And at the end of that, she winds up making a metal ashtray move across the table right in front of me with her energy. And
wow,
it was totally real. And like my concept of what was impossible sort of shattered right then. And
yeah.
I went on a long quest of trying to find my path, and went down many different avenues before I finally landed on the one I've been on for the last 20 years.
Right. And so I think for me, some of that story is also interesting. I mean, it does involve kind of like these journeys of living non-traditionally. You want to tell us about some of those adventures? I would love to.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, maybe like going to live off the grid, or kind of taking different retreats, like tell me kind of.
Well, I've never been totally off the grid, but I've been after I left agency world, I went into directing. Oh, thanks, Jesse. I went into directing commercials and making short films and shows, which let me have a somewhat flexible time frame, and right. I could take 2 or 3 days or a week and go off and do some really crazy stuff. I got involved in a lot of different currents, the Masonic stuff. I got involved in the Golden Dawn stuff. I got deeply involved for about 6 years. I'm an initiated Babalao in Ifa, which is it's an African witch doctor.
African witch doctor.
Yeah.
Nice.
So and then
that's what I'm talking about. That's not very traditional. That's like
that's not very traditional. Nothing about my life has been traditional, dude. I've always like been staring out the window at 3 a.m, looking at the stars, going home.
So I guess what I'm thinking about, Bryan, is I remember a story to me that you told me, and I'm just sitting there like my mouth on the floor, about an experience you had with your mentor, where he took you kind of astral traveling, and you experienced physically being in a different place, even to the point where like you can touch things physically. So, like, that's the kind of story, that's the kind of stuff that I think is more and more people are being open to listening to, and not being like, that guy's crazy, when he's telling you the story. It's like more and more accepted to understand these energetic experiences.
Well, the thing I hope to share with people is, the receptive side of myself, my clairvoyance, intuition. It's all been really, really great, and I love that part of me. But that's half, and the other half is your projective abilities. Your receptive things. You learn to see auras and your energy fields, and energy flows around you, and that changes the whole texture of life. And
Sure. Yeah.
the thing with the telekinesis thing, everybody said, "Oh, well, he moved a thing across the table," or like I've done for you guys, spinning the rod thing, which is the first little letter A in the alphabet,
Right.
And those things, like all right, spinning the rod. I teach kind of a 4-step primer to do some really serious study, especially telekinetic study. And the last part of that is actually doing a telekinetic effect, which in this case is taking a metal rod, bouncing on a little fulcrum, and spinning that with your energy. Doing that for me, cracking that was really hard. I got given I was given a deadline on it, like 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
That's all I had. And if I couldn't get it by
I didn't know that.
then it was over.
Wow. I did not know
So
that.
I was out there every night, man, starting at midnight for about at least 2 or 3 hours, like pushing and charging. And at this point, I was really good at charging. Like, I knew I had enough energy on it. I was like on it, and that thing would not move. And I was sweating, getting eaten by mosquitoes. And over the course of that time, I really tried to not, the worst place to go is to be defeatist about it. Oh, I can't do it. Let your skeptic come amok and go, oh, I told you couldn't do this. And I just kept going. I thought I kind of came up with this visual metaphor where it's like this pane of bulletproof glass. And on the other side of it was this jewel I wanted really bad. So like every night I went out, like I'm banging on it, man. I'm making cracks and I'm like waiting for it to open. And I get down to the last night. It's going to be the next day is the 3-week deadline. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm kind of panicking a little bit, and it's late. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I pushed and pushed and pushed. That thing was juiced, but it wouldn't move. Yeah. So all of a sudden this bird comes and lands on my fence right next to me, goes cheep, 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 cheep. And my attention slid. And in that second, when I looked back, the rod was moving and it spun a quarter of a turn. Wow. And I realized, oh my God, I've been holding it. I never let go. I never let, and lesson 1. And right then,
wow,
the entirety, like I just did something impossible. Like I just did something impossible. Yeah. And then what's not possible, right? Like, anything you want to go after, man, you can go after. Like nothing's possible if you're willing to figure it out.
Totally. So for me, folks, like this was, I'm going to just share this. So Bryan and I, we did a show. I want to show you guys some of this deck because it's really, truly, truly, truly beautiful. But this tarot deck that Bryan had created, we created this show called The Fool's Journey, and we went through the deck literally card by card, explained what the Fool's Journey was. But there is an episode of this show where Bryan does share his magic, and he pulls out a rod and he puts it on this lens upside down, so it's balanced on a lens, and he literally makes the thing start spinning around with his energy, and it's all there on video. You can see it. If you're into that, I recommend watching it because you'll be glued to the screen. It's really,
we did a lot of lessons in there too. It wasn't just about the cards. It was like all the goodies, like all those 4 little lessons to the primer. They're all in there, including the rod thing, the detailed description of how to do it. And
it was a great, I'm so happy that we did that because it's there now, and it's like this archive of really good information and for you and me, great moments and memories also. But
learning through that was a huge evolution. That was just going to be a podcast, but that turned into a magical event certainly for me, for a couple of other people too, where like
Sure.
whatever the energy of the card was that week, that's what was happening in my life, which was great, and it sucked a couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that, and there was there was a lot of stuff. Oh, and this is a good thing, a good side thing would be the numerology that's involved, because we had a little journey with my birthday, and some tombstone stuff was happening, and you were seeing some things. It was awesome, a lot of fun. So Vivian is asking for the website. That's on YouTube, and it's called The Fool's Journey with Bryan Lahr. Let me see if I can put the link into the comments here. It's YouTube at The Fool's Journey with Bryan Lahr. Let me just make sure that link works. Yes, it does. And I'm just going to put that right here into the comments so you guys can click on it. It's a little bit more of a something you don't want to. I'll pop it up on the screen too. Right there is the URL, but you can click it now in the comments if you're. Yeah. And Helen said she felt like she was a kindergartner listening to a doctoral class. But there, again, I think it was a great introduction to tarot. Anybody who doesn't even know about the tarot, to even understand how deep the cards go. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Synchronicity is always.
The thing people don't normally take about the tarot is the first 22 cards, which are the major arcana cards, are a card by card sequenced personal initiation. And that is the part that blew me away after I'd been reading for a long time. When I started thinking about it in terms of like, I'm the fool, and this journey, I meet the wizard, I meet the priestess, the empress, they all have lessons for you, and that are very profound. And if you go through the entire thing all the way to the universe, there you are at the end with this big bag full of skills and this refined, evolved light ready to go on and
start it all over.
But you come back with tools this time, all the lessons get harder.
Exactly. So I'm just putting together a couple of quick links here to show the tarot deck, because there's so much artwork of yours that I want to show. But the cards specifically, since we're talking about them, let's take a look at the cards. I think there was such an amazing there's so many amazing things happening with the cards.
Let me give you a little, how these happened was kind of an interesting.
Yeah, let's hear that story.
So my teacher had been really goading me to create my own deck. He's a real aficionado, very, very good. I'm like, dude, that's 78 pieces of artwork. That's just too much. So I didn't really get on it. But he wouldn't let it go, man. He just stayed on it. Finally, he's like, okay, he's going to trick me. And, oh yeah, Courtney, I do that too. It's the tarot deck's the regular card deck minus the major arcanas. So it's pretty much one and the same. So anyway, he tricked me into just do the Magus card, just do the Magician. Okay, well, I was all on about that. And then, as you see here, this is incense smoke. This is a picture of incense smoke. In this particular case, that picture has been mirrored, so it's two halves of that. But each one of the cards was done well. Once I hit the Magician, which happened on the winter solstice, it just exploded, man. And they were just coming every single day, and I was out shooting, and it just really, really happened. And I didn't really set out to do a deck to sell. That was not my intent at all. It was my intent to do the absolute. If I could put every bell and whistle into a personal, the Swiss Army knife of tarot decks, and I was making it for my own reading and my own practice. And I really like this card a lot.
Yeah, this card's beautiful. So I wanted to show also, besides the amazing artwork, and so again, like you're saying, this is incense smoke that's going all around this sword. Is all of the information that you included. This was again, for me, oh my God, there's so much that goes into tarot. It's a true deep art, right? And this deck is such an amazing example of that. So besides the name of the card, there's also kind of like this description of
keywords,
some keywords here, but there's also you have, maybe I'm thinking of the angel deck, the harmonies and all of those.
You need to get the court cards.
The court cards. Okay, hang on a second.
Or one of the major arcana cards. There, that one's good. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been fascinated with divination systems since I was a teenager, and I know hundreds of them. And when I finally decided to do the deck, well, the pictures are one part of it, but what's the deck structure they're going to do? Right. And there are so many beautiful ones out there already. I was like, what can I be contributing to this? So I decided to bring some of the other divination systems and tie them into this. Like there's numerology, geomancy, Ifao, dues, numerology. You can see at the top there's a little musical staff. Like the numerology of the word chariot has musical notes associated with it. So each one has a little intrinsic sequence, and there's planetary like it's chock full of goodness.
Yep.
There's a lot of information on there. So.
Yeah, so that's Courtney was asking if that's music notes. Yep, exactly. And actually, speaking of that, Bryan, I think something else that we learned in the Fool's Journey, which was something that I learned, was the idea of numerology and how it works, and how you can apply numerology to just about anything, and the idea of the sigils, when we talked about sigils, right? And that if there's a certain question you have, right, and something that you want answered, you take that question, you write it down, you translate each letter into a number, and then you come up with
a question. It's an intent and a desire.
An intention.
Right. You want something to happen,
Right. I guess what I meant was that, translating the words into the numbers was kind of what.
Well, numbers work into every single thing I do, and numbers work and numbers were the first thing I got, man. That when I was very, very young, and the reason they stick with me is because they define frequencies. They define energetic frequencies, and those, having those signatures, like that, those are the keys to the universe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kelly Brickle's saying numerology. She loves numerology. Yeah, Bryan is so knowledgeable about numerology and the different ways to apply it. Like I had no idea that numerology was so many layers. So I'm just going through a couple of these cards because, again, there's the angel cards I want to show as well. There's some other things I want to show. We're already like 37 minutes in. So maybe you want to talk about how you represented the different, I guess, what are they called? The suits.
Yeah, there's the major arcana, the minor arcana. The minor arcana are divided up into suits that represent different elements: fire, water, air, and earth. This is a pentacle, which is like a coin in a lot of decks. I made mine into spheres because I imagine them spinning. It's like I see those in motion as they're happening. But that's and this is the ten of pentacles, and this is the peak of financial accomplishment, worldly like acquisition of stuff. It's wealth that's like bigger than itself, that feeds itself, that you can enjoy yourself and share and be philanthropist, leave things behind. It's like a really magical. It's one of my favorite cards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I'm just catching up with some of the comments. Kelly, Bryan's artwork is beautiful. Absolutely, I told you. And numbers can be understood internationally too. Yep, numbers, math is the basis of the universe, isn't it?
Language of the universe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Helen is saying spheres. Them are beautiful. Spheres, and Jesse is commenting on legacy, one of the keywords here in the card, which is awesome. So I love the way you represented all of the different suits, the pentacles with the spheres, and then the swords. Oh, that's from the angel deck. Okay, so we'll move over. But the some of the incense,
for fire.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the ace.
Beautiful card. So again, these cards are available at thewizardofod.com. Such a beautiful deck.
And it's just a little special thing. If you guys, somebody wants to reach out and get a neck, I'd love to do a pretty comprehensive reading as part of that deal. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if you want to grab a deck and leave me a note.
Nice. If you mention holding space, you get a connection with Bryan, and he'll give you a reading. So I also want to let me pop this out for 1 second because I actually have them physically here. I have my deck, the 10th anniversary gold, amazing cards, and then you can see how beautiful they are. You could really literally look at these cards for hours and see angels and all sorts of symbols and meanings, and you can get all sorts of great meanings from these cards.
Well, so as beautiful as that is, I'm still reading with my 10-year-old
tattered.
Yeah, I can't give it up, man.
Tattered deck. Yeah, no, it's awesome. Well, they have so much energy.
They do.
How could you get rid of them?
Good.
So I'm just bringing this up again, but I want to go to some more images here. I did have also. Let's see. So this is from the Angel deck, which also I think has such an amazing story to it. So why don't you tell us the story about how this deck was created and each angel and all of that?
The deck had been out for a couple of years, and I shot a couple of images that were angels. I did a lot of different smoke stuff for a long time. I got deeply into that. So I went, oh my goodness. I showed it to somebody and she goes, well, where's the angel deck? And I went, you're right. So I just started shooting, and I had a system, the Shem Hamaphorish from the Old Testament, the 72 angels of the names of God. So I had been really familiar with that and worked with that system for a long time. So I just kind of dove in, and and this wound up being a companion deck to the tarot deck, and that they both have correspondences and relate. And so each of the angel cards, I took the angel that day, juiced up the incense for that card, and then shot until it was my solar plexus went, yeah, you're done. And then that night I did went into trance, did automatic writing, and all of the readings in the little manual for the angel deck are all the automatic writing readings from that, which is why I read those all the time, even though it still kind of irks me. You should have it memorized, but it comes directly from them when I take myself out of it,
Right. Hang on a second. I want to see if I can bring up.
That's my birthday angel, by the way.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah,
I love that, and obviously, I think most people can see Yeshua there in the center or whatever they want to interpret. But I just love this. I'm just looking for the. I have the manual, which also has some of the. I want to show people what the actual readings are, because you actually did automatic writing to each one of the angels.
That was an intense 72 days.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's one of the backs of the cards, sorry, not the backs of the card, the booklet. And this shows the reading, and it shows again this all different systems, divination systems.
Yeah, the astrological
represented
and the elements and the planets, and yeah.
And then each message was channeled from that angel. Amazing stuff. So here's another card, Angel of Victory. And I have spent hours literally looking at these cards, and I'm sure there's many more hours left I'll be spending looking at these cards.
The thing about the tarot deck, as many thousands of times as I've looked at that at this point, depending on your emotional content that you're bringing to the reading, they open doorways to seeing a lot of different things.
A million percent. That's really awesome. And let's see, what do I got here? Okay, so that's your website. We went over that stuff. Beautiful, awesome. Let me pop that out. Oh wow, I love hanging out with you and looking at your stuff and talking about where it came from and all of the different layers.
You know, I've been an artist my whole life, and you know, you think about you get to like this other I'm ancient now, man. You know, and you start thinking about, well, what's gonna be left behind? You know, hopefully it won't be the head up the ass guy. It'll be my deck. Really, I'm really just like nobody cares about the life paintings or anything
You
else.
know what?
And the deck will still be there. And the fact that it's already played a role in thousands of people's lives makes my heart jump with joy.
Dude, you are like the hidden gem of artists. I'm so blessed to have you as a friend. Truly, truly. And Jesse, thank you for this beautiful comment. Jesse says, so much of your essence and magic in the deck. It's beautiful. You could tell it was very much divinely guided through you as a bridge from the earth to the earth from the cosmos. Bryan himself, I think, embodies that whole sentiment. And I do recommend, holding space. Again, this show is all about connecting the whole collective together and giving a spotlight to each individual. I have so many great individuals that I'm going to talk to. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you too.
But this is why we do it. Courtney says, thank you for introducing us to such a divine being.
Wow.
And that, I mean, how does that just that statement and that sentiment, Bryan, from Courtney to you to me, each one of us is experiencing that with such joy, right? It's such a joyous, it's such a joyful intention. Thank you, Courtney, so much for that, and everyone for being here and taking the time to listen to Bryan's amazing story. Bryan, we have a little bit of time. I think there's probably more to the story that we can talk about, but I'm thinking, I know the Sacred Spiral Network is full of amazing readers. How are you feeling about maybe doing a reading if anyone's up for it? Are you?
Well,
you could say no. You could say no. That's why I asked.
No, we could do that. Let's, let me pull an angel card for the group. Or we can do a person too if there's somebody else.
What, you know what? Whatever you're feeling. Holistic Harmonies, Fran, thank you for the love. I kind of feel like, okay, so Tracy's saying card please, but I feel like I would love to give a sample of what you do because, again, I mean, all of my friends are so amazing, but you specifically, Bryan, are
okay, Tracy, this one's for you. We come together to create a sacred space, a place of safety and truth and light. I ask that the angels be with us this evening and share their joy and love and truth to all of us, and that we have eyes to hear, ears to hear, eyes to see, and the wisdom to understand. With gratitude, love, and wish for bliss to the source, we open our circle. All right, Tracy, close your eyes and imagine that we're standing face to face, looking each other in the eye. And if you have a specific question, beam that to me really hard. And if not, we'll just do some general words of wisdom. My angels are not always warm and fuzzy, just a note of caution. But they always tell the truth. Focus. Words of wisdom for my friend Tracy. Words of wisdom for my friend Tracy. Words of wisdom for my friend Tracy. Forgot to add the juice. All right. Number 9, the angel of divine mercy and forgiveness.
Maybe I can bring it up. You could read it, but I'll see if I could bring it up while you're doing
That'd
that.
be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring up the words or the card?
I'll bring up the words.
Great.
Or whatever you want.
Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Yeah, I got it right here. Boom. Present, share screen. Boom. Oh. Where is it? Right here we go. Boom. All right.
Success. Okay, we're done.
I love that. Oh, I love that. You just need the first word.
Yeah, right. It's success through skill and material accomplishment. A joyous air surrounds you. Wonderful events are beginning to unfold. You are about to savor the sweet fruit of your lengthy, hard labor. Stop worrying. You will receive what is rightfully yours. The bread thrown onto the water of life will come back threefold. You're gifted with success in relationships, achieved with a generous soul, and the sharing of your unconditional love and resources. Love is the cup that never runs dry. Know that it is the infinite fountain. Immerse yourself in the success of creating those things which have deep passion and inspiration for you. Build a team of quality people and combine your resources together. Create an alliance of power and success. Organize, co-create, make things happen by using all available means. The sum of the whole is greater than the parts.
Oh, what a great card. Kelly, what do you think of that? I think that's great. And there's the actual card for anybody who wants to see the card. And again, we have spent hours looking at these cards. There's so many different angels and things happening and going on in the symmetry of these cards. I definitely highly recommend getting them if you're into cards. And Vivian says, beautiful message. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Vivian, hey.
Courtney, thank you. Helen says your angels have always seemed warm and fuzzy to me.
Oh, well, good, Helen. That's great. You know, sometimes what you need to hear isn't exactly like, you know, they're not patting you on the back going success. Right. You know, right. What you need to hear is like, get out of your emotions, like
right.
And you know, when you're in that zone, you know, that's not always what people want to hear, but that's what they need to hear.
Totally. And
anyway, I'm glad you relate to them, Helen. They love you too.
Yes, totally. So I did see again. I didn't mean to throw you on the spot there.
No, I'm always ready.
No, I appreciated you jumping in and clearing.
Hold on before we stop. I want to like finish that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the beautiful message. Thank you for sharing your love and your truth with us. And with gratitude, love, and wish for bliss to the source, we beg everyone to depart and see you soon. We close our circle. Thanks. I didn't want to leave that hanging up.
No, I appreciate it. And you know, again, I know it's right to ask, and even like I know a lot of my psychic friends ask people if they're open to messages when they're feeling the messages, but again, you very, very formally like to open the space, and I appreciate.
You know, I respect them very much, and the level of their frequency, like the vibration that they vibrate on, like I've got to elevate my you know, they deserve that.
Yes, great. Awesome. And Arnie saying awesome show, many more. I think people are calling for the show to end. We still got 6 minutes, folks. I'm here till the end. I'm gonna appreciate my time with Bryan. Bryan is such an amazing human being, and truly one of the few people who I know who I call a wizard, a shaman, a mystic, like in the truest sense of the word.
You know, can I have a little end kind of thing here? I'd really like to wrap this up with this. You know, I asked you that question, like, what is the thing that you would take? You know, you've seen all those people on the live stream of consciousness, you know, and like I asked you last night, out of all of that, what's your takeaway? Well, I'd like to give you, like I've been studying really hard full time for 50 years. And out of the end of that, and I've tried all kinds of different flavors but the truth is they all lead down to the center point, and that's the source. That's energy, pure and simple. And when you strip away all the dogma and the rituals that are culturally and socially and like of the place where they were developed, and you strip away all the human stuff that we've stacked on it, and you get down to the essence, it's our light is an actual piece of the source, and we are always connected to that. We're never alone. We're always in the light. We choose to not be sometimes, but we're always, that is the part that's infinite and invincible and will always go on. And when you live in accordance with the laws of energy, and you really, really take to heart the fact that the energy and the frequency that you send out, the universe doesn't sit there and make judgments about that and go, oh, well, what he really needs is this. You're sending out this. That's what reflects back, because that's just the way it works. It doesn't deviate. It works every single time.
Totally.
So becoming really conscious about my energy frequency and just living in accordance with the laws of energy has made my life flow so much smoother.
Amazing words of wisdom. And Vivian says, may we get a group message. I think that was it right there. What an amazing group message, truly. And I was appreciative that you asked me that question. It did make me think about my experience and this whole thing. And I think I said to you, the whole idea was that we all are so unique, and regardless of any sort of like way that we grew up, we need to all back up and love that about each other, love our uniqueness, and love to holding space is all about hearing about the other person's perspective and allowing for that, you know what I mean? And I think we all need to do that. And I'm so blessed to have all of the people in the audience in the chat room tonight here to share your essence, and the fact that you're sharing your essence.
I'm really humbled. I'm
really amazing. So amazing. And thank you also to the Sacred Spiral Network, Kelly, for giving me this opportunity, and Jennifer Rose, who's out there, all of these people. KB loves Bryan's vibration, all the energy thrills. Yes, all the energy chills. Bryan is amazing. Yes, vibration is amazing. Love is amazing. Let's do it, folks. This is what it's all about. It's about coming together, holding space for each other. I'm excited to hold space for Grace Grella next week, who's a good friend of mine and
badass medium.
So excited and excited to hold space, not only for my friends who I love holding space for, but I love holding space for somebody I don't know, and learning all about who they are and experiencing them. And that's it, man. That's what holding space is about. I thank you guys for all sharing in this first episode with me. Bryan, you especially, thank you so much for being a part of it and my first episode. And many more to come. Like I said, next week I have Grace Grella with me. The week after, I believe I've got Alicia Munyan and then Minty May coming up. So a lot of good stuff. Thank you guys all for being here. Yes. It's good for the algorithm and Sacred Spiral to like tickle the algorithm and let them know you're here by just commenting. So if you're here live, just comment #live. If you're watching in the replay, comment #replay. Any sort of comment helps the show. Of course, sharing and subscribing also helps grow this amazing community. And I am open to receiving any correspondence from anybody. If you feel like you have a story to tell, if you feel like you need some space held for you, I'm here to hold space for you. And we will see you guys next week. I gotta see, I do have some end credits here I gotta run. Very cool. Again, thank you to my producer Kelly Brickle and the Sacred Spiral Network. I will see you all guys next week. Thanks for being here.